few basic generic extensions required for the VS Code editor that helps improve the development workflow and can help you avoid mistakes and errors. So let's get started. Most of the time, you tend to write the wrong variable names unknowingly. Sometimes you forget the spellings literally. Here is a basic spell checker and also suggest the words that suits better. It's a very useful and to catch the common spelling errors while coding and documentation task. Let's see how this works. Here is a component.ts file where I'll be adding a variable called as subtitle and the value as practice makes man perfect, right? So as soon as I type in this, you could able to see the blue line highlighting, and so here you're able to see like there is some kind of problem that exists, and if you click on quick fix you can able to see the suggestions. Here I'm trying to write it as a subtitle, so it's I is missing over there, so let me just select that, and even the make spelling is wrong, so let me just quickly fix it. And yes, so let me select this one. Yep, so this is so easy to use. Prettier is an optionated one that you can use, so it helps to enforce us to have a consistent style by parsing the code and reprinting it with the custom rules that we will be giving it. Like let's say the managing the maximum length of the specific line of a code and wrapping it to a certain number of words and so on. So you can just add it to any of your projects as well, and you can customize it as required. So let's start with some of the coding thing. So here is some method that I have written, so let me just copy it. So let me go into some component and let me just paste this. So you can see here this is looking so weird, so let me just format this. So this is a inbuilt default formatter of the VS Code that you can just see. It has been arranged in a good way, but you can just see that there is no constriction over the line which is there. Like it is hard to read, like if the number of character in a specific line is more, right? So this is not that much suitable. So let me just select this and let me try to format this with a prettier. Okay, so you can just see here we have two options. One is the default code formatter for TypeScript and the JavaScript language, and now we can select the prettier code formatter for this. Yeah, so now you can just see the code is looking very neat and it is much more readable than before. When we say code maintenance, it's not just about writing good code, it's also very crucial to write good comments. In long run, it will be very helpful for future developers to understand its working or any actions to be taken for its improvement. So this extension will help you create more human-friendly comments by having to write the highlights, alerts, to-dos and queries, etc. So let's get into some coding aspects. So here we have a method called as calculate answer. So here we'll write some comments for this method. So here we can observe that substring is deprecated, so this needs to be replaced, and this can be taken up in coming up version, certain versions and all. So these are kind of information that we'll be adding. So let's start with some of the kind of highlights or the information what this method does basically. So here we can write like this method is used to calculate calculate the answer for some of the inputs that we will be providing. Okay. So this method is used to calculate the answer for given input. So next we can just add an alert. So alert is for deprecation alert. So this we can just add it as a deprecated substring method, and this to be fixed in the version or to be replaced next. So here we can also add the to-dos as well. We can just mention it as a to-do colon, and we can just add it as like a replace substring method in the version, some, let's say like 1.9.0 version. So this is just a kind of information that we'll be providing. And next we have some queries. So queries for any other developers, like do we need to move this specific method to some kind of shared folders or something like that, so we can just use it across, right? So here this can be added. There is no day for the developers without writing console logs for debugging purposes to check what values we are getting assigned to a specific variable, right? So this extension makes developer life much easier by automating the task of writing some meaningful log messages. Let's see how this looks in the code and how we can use it, right? So here in the calculate answer method, we have the variables, different variables like formula, so which has been used in the multiple places in this method. So let's say we want to just debug this one, right? So just select it, click Control Option L if you're using the MacBook. So here you can just see some comment that got appeared. So it says like from which file it is coming, that is app.component.ts. This specific log is coming from, and from the class app component, and inside that we have this calculate answer method, inside which we have this formula variable. So that is what we are getting logged, and it's this log is coming from the line number 15, right? So this is so descriptive, correct? So let's log one more variable called as last key. So here also you can just see such a descriptive log, including the line number as well. Most of the time you share the code across teammates by copy pasting them into some chats. So it basically its format vanishes and it looks very weird, right? So here is an extension by which you can take some beautiful screenshots of your code in the VS Code, and you can quickly save the screenshots in your code and copy them, and you can just paste it anywhere that you want. So let's see how this works. So let me go into some component. Okay, my bad. Okay, so let's go here. So some app.component.ts. Okay, let's say we just need to pass on the specific method across the team. So let me take a snapshot of this. Like, let me select it, right clicking on that, you'll get option 2 as code snap. Yep, hooray. So we got a beautiful screenshot with no time, right? So you can just copy it and share it across. In the huge projects, it's very hard to identify who has written a specific line of code and when it was changed and by whom. Here is an extension that solves this issue. Here you can jump back through the history to gain further insights, and also it simply helps you better understand the code and helps effortlessly to explore the history and evolution of the code base. Let's see how this actually works. For demonstrating purpose, I have taken the project LoadHash, which is an open source project. So here let me go through or let me just open one of the file add.js or add.js. So here if you just click on any line of the code, you can see who have made the changes for the specific line of code, and like since when this changes was done. It was done 6 years ago, and here you can see the commit hash as well. That's great, and you can just navigate to that specific commit hash and you can check what are the changes that was done. And here you can see it was 4 years ago this specific line got changed, right? The same applies to any lines of the code in the whole project that you will be working with. You install and import many packages during development. Without proper knowledge, if you import unnecessary bulky imports, that impacts the load time negatively, and the app performance becomes poor as the project grows. Yes, this extension will display inline in the editor the size of the imported package. It utilizes Webpack in order to detect the imported size of a certain package. So here, if you can just see, it is showing as a calculating. So whenever you open the component, and after a few fraction of seconds, you could able to see the package size which has been imported in this specific component. It is 118.7.1K. Let's navigate to some other module, app.module.ts. So here also you can just see the sizes of the imported packages. So in the first, you can see it as a green, so which is an allowed size of a specific package, and the other one is Angular core. It signifies it's just a more. Live server, it is used to launch a local development server with live reload feature for static and dynamic pages like HTML code. If we don't have a spinned up local server for watching in live as you code. Let's see how this actually works. So let me just go to this app.component.html. So if you right click on this, open with the live server, you have the option here, just click on this. So here you can just see the page is opening at some certain port. So below you can just see now the server is started the port 5500, and if you want to just stop this, you can just click on the below option, click to close server, and now the server is offline. Are you someone having multiple VS Code instances running for different applications or frameworks, or are you using VS Code live share or using VS Code's remote features at the same instant, and you want to quickly identify your editor? Here is an extension that changes the color of your VS Code workspace. That is Peacock. Let me just open the command palette and type in change to favorite color. So here you will be having the various options to choose from for your VS Code. So if you can observe, as soon as I select some different options over here, so you're able to see that some different colors appearing for the workspace. So here it's an Angular project. Let me select Angular, and here this is one more project for JavaScript related or the Node.js project. So let me select Node Green. As a developer, sometimes you are supposed to write code documentation on README files or any feature specific documents in MD files. VS Code supports Markdown language, but you need to type it all by yourself. No time for adding hashtags, exclamatory marks every time you want to write something, correct? Here is an extension. It contains all you need for Markdown language that you want to write. So kind of keyboard shortcuts, table of contents, auto preview, and much more. And here you have a good documentation as well, so you can check it out. So come on, let's write some readme file. So here is a file readme.md, and here if you can just see, we have like, let's say let me bold this word server. Here I have to just add asterisk, double asterisk to make it bold, right? So if you're using the plugin, it is just this command B or a control B. If you're using Windows, it's command B if you're using the MacBook. So easy, right? And let's say if you want to add some kind of italicize it, it is just command I. And if you want to just add some links or something, how do you do it? So it is very easy using this plugin. Great. I hope this helped you. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If it was useful, like the video, subscribe and stay tuned for more such contents.